Morning, everyone. Welcome to the Dublin campus and to the 2026 State of the University Address. I'd like for you to welcome our president, Dr. Christopher Blake.
Well, good morning, and thank you. And that is very loud. We'll just turn that down a bit. Anyway, good morning. It's a delight to welcome you, as Monica said, to the Dublin campus for our annual State of the University Address. To those of you who are colleagues at Middle Georgia, thank you for starting the spring semester so well. We'll hear a little bit about that momentarily. To our colleagues in this wonderful community of Dublin and Lawrence County, and I see several of our friends and partners and supporters. Thank you for being here. And I regularly say to the faculty and staff, we are a public university, and we're only a university when we keep that word public in front of it. So the partnership that we enjoy with you is core to who we are and what we do in our mission. For those of who are watching online or in the room who are new at Middle Georgia and weren't at the August convocation, as your colleague and president, I welcome you to our community, and I thank you for the service that you will provide in ensuring our students graduate with a career building and a life-changing credential. We're honored that you would choose your skills and knowledge to be shared at Middle Georgia State. The State of the University Address is a tradition that I established to try and give a midway analysis of how we're doing. We're halfway through the year academically and financially, and so it's a really good moment to see how we're doing. And in so doing, I'm going to pick up a couple of the themes that I introduced at convocation. I would like to give a big shout out to our friends from the Office of Technology Resources, to OTR. Thank you for, you were here well before sunrise this morning, getting this place ready, so thank you for your help. And to those of you who are watching online, I know you have a busy day, and whichever campus you are, I hope that this day will be one that, and your short time with me now will be something that will help us reflect on what we do and why we do it, and how we can continue to build on that. So this address will, my goal is to be about 20 minutes long, and then to open it to any comments or questions. And if there is a question for the online audience, I will repeat it so that they know what was asked. I'm going to cover three main things. One is I always at convocation talk about the vital signs of the university. And the vital signs, obviously, and it's fitting for this health-related campus, the vital signs are the physical well-being of a person that typically is measured in health and medical settings. So an organization has to have the same attention to how is its health. And we're going to briefly look at that issue. I'm also going to remind us that we are in, and I'm wearing the lapel pin, we're in our second decade as a state university. And the theme of the second decade is one that I'm encouraging every department, and I hope with our students, to talk about what does it mean to grow in a second decade. We can think of human life and how our children mature sometimes too quickly in front of our eyes. This university has changed dramatically in 10 years. It has been a single institution for 13 years. And the question I want us as a community to talk about with our colleagues in the community is, what should this look like? If we came here in 10 years' time, what should be happening on this campus? And how should we be reaching into the community to support the goals of education and the goals of economic development and well-being in the community? So let's get underway, and then the third bit, I do want to talk a little bit about Dublin and about this campus so that our friends that are visiting can hear about the plans, the success, and what we're doing in Dublin. Let's quickly go through the vital signs. I am proud to say that as of this morning, we have the largest ever spring enrollment in our history. So a huge, let's give that an applause for that. this is an extraordinary accomplishment. We have, and I really want to thank, through our enrollment management division, to everyone else. I want to thank you for what you do, because it is a team effort, and all of us play a role in ensuring that students come to Middle Georgia State and graduate from Middle Georgia State. As of today, we have a 7% increase in our credit hour production and our head count from last spring. We are well over 8,000 students, close to 8,200 students. And if you recall, in the fall, we had our largest ever fall enrollment. So we have retained students, we've brought new students, and I'm delighted with this. Our credit hour production, which is really important for our financial health, really important. The Board of Regents uses that for state appropriation calculations going forward. Our credit hour production is over 84,000, and that's, as I say, a 7% increase. So we're off to a great start. The simple, if you want to, one takeaway is that more people are wanting to come to Middle Georgia to benefit from an extremely high quality and very, very cost-effective higher education, and we want to continue to provide that. With that, the other piece about it, as you know, is that we have 3 residential campuses, not Dublin, but we do have residential facilities in Macon and Cochrane and Eastman. And we have seen an increase in the number of students coming to those. As you will know, when the new Lakeview Point was built, we then had the pandemic. We literally opened it, I think, about 2 weeks before the whole world went on to lockdown. And we've come back from that now. And Amanda and I regularly look at the numbers, because that's our job to do that. But I believe that within a year or 18 months, we will have our heads above water with, which means for housing that we're able to meet all the debt and the bond payments, and we are heading in the right direction. My great congratulations to our residence staff for what they're leading and the programming that's going on, which I'll come to briefly. In terms of our facilities, we've seen some amazing facility development. There's work going on this campus for the PTA program that will be released. We opened a new hangar in Eastman on a really beautiful autumn day. Last, I think, November. And it was November, we were worried it might be cold. It was just perfect. And we had the delightful Bars Family Pavilion and Cottage, which now I encourage people to use. It's there for the communities, and it's there for the Middle Georgia family to use. So we've got that really wonderful new appearance at the front of the campus. Other things are going on other campuses that are really, I hope in August I can give you a lot of work in the progress, a lot of discussions underway regarding Warner Robins, regarding Macon, and I don't want to do a spoiler alert. I want to hold on, see where we are, and then give a thorough update on that in August when we come back. Okay, so the final thing I want to say about our vital signs is a real shout for our colleagues and friends in student affairs. We have seen, and the great, I called back in August for data and leadership, like use your data, but then make decisions with the data. Don't just like look at the numbers and think, oh, it's okay, what do these tell me that we need to do next? And I'm very proud that in student affairs, they've been able to measure new levels of student engagement. We've seen a 28% increase in the number of events and a 24% increase in the attendance since fall of 24. I mean, that is phenomenal growth. And you see it on our campuses. There's more going on, there's more students doing things, and that is what a second decade university begins to look like. So let me move on to the second decade. And there were 4 major themes in that paper that I put out. And if you need another copy of the paper, we have several in our, I'm very happy to give you another one. There were 4. It was about academic excellence and reputation. It was about student success. It was about what I just mentioned about data and leadership being the human element of what the sort of the technical product in front of us is, well, what do we do with that? And finally, about community and engagement, and how do we foster those relationships and the support? Because as the least expensive university in the state of Georgia, we need our friends to help us whether it's student support and scholarships, or whether it's helping equip places, or whether it's maybe even building renovations. We need that help to do what we can do well. So let's start with, I'm going to sort of go outside the paper order. I'm going to start with student success, because it's a major theme that we have made progress with, and I want us to continue now in a more integrated way. First of all, I want to give a shout out for those who are working with our learning support students. So let's think about those students who come to college for the first time and they struggle. And we are an access university. We are proud of opening our doors for people to come. We've seen a 13.1% increase in mathematics success rates. In England, we say maths. Well, I said mathematics. I nearly said maths then. But, a 13.1% increase in 1 year. I mean, that, as a former high school teacher, as an educator, those kind of outcomes only come about if they're intentional and focused and everyone's pulling in the same direction. A 6.8% increase in English success rates. So to those faculty and staff who are working with learning support students, this is the way that we keep them moving then onto a degree program where they will graduate. The work you're doing is foundational and essential. And I won't get into, well, why are they struggling? That's history. It's that we can help now to give success to those students. At the other end of the spectrum, we just had our first graduates in our DPS, a doctorate in public safety. So we are helping our, and I think I saw our chief, he was one of the first graduates. We're helping our safety experts, our law enforcement officers have that potential for a career where they can be at the top of their profession in the state of Georgia. Now, what I can say, so it's good news, but there's also some things that we are being held accountable, because several of us were up with the Chancellor and his team last week. They talked about our graduation rates being inadequate. They said you've seen modest improvement in graduation rates. I know that the successes that we're putting in retention and, say, the learning support data just now, I know that will translate in the next few years to more students graduating, but we need a unified, integrated approach to understanding how do we help our students to get to graduation at a level which is more aligned with getting them at the most expedient way through a degree. If the students are 100% in charge of saying, hey, I don't want to take a class this semester, I need time out, I want to do only 2, not 3, well, fine. We live in a market economy. Students will exercise those, and it's not our job to say you can't do that. But if it's because we haven't planned for opportunity, or we're not offering that this semester, or, well, that's going to be a problem, then my challenge to our deans and to our department chairs is revisit that issue. Revisit that issue and figure out ways in which we can provide pathways that allow for the most expeditious way in which students can graduate. And so I have been speaking to the provost. We're going to announce shortly an integrated student success focus. It's going to be a new project that's about to start. And we're going to be receiving in a month the result of, and I'm going to get the acronym is NISS, the National Institute of Student Success. I'm guessing, is that correct? The provost is nodding, so I guessed that one right. We will be getting a report from the National Institute of Student Success, and it will be accurate about where we're doing well and where we're not doing well. And that will be the foundation on which I'm going to ask our senior team to work with faculty and staff in an integrated planning model to make sure that we continue to support that. Our academic reputation, second point, is extremely strong. I don't go into the community and hear, oh, your nurses aren't well trained, or your pilots with Delta are not very good. I hear the exact opposite. I hear that our teachers are the best, and that the local counties want to hire our teacher graduates. I hear that our business graduates are people who are contributing to the economy of the region at a level that other institutions are not doing. So I know the quality of our programming, and I think we're beginning to see this get recognized. The aviation school is the first FAA enhanced ATC, air traffic control CTI initiative. We are being included in the federal government now for our air traffic control work. But much more broadly across the whole institution, you can see that quality. We've got coming next week, if the weather over the weekend permits them to get in, but we have coming next week, we have COARC. Those are the accrediting body for what I call respiratory therapy. And that is one of the best programs in the state. So what I want to say to our faculty and staff is be proud about promoting externally what we're doing. The president alone can't do it. I can stand up at Rotaries and sound like I'm sounding with you today, but it needs that message to be understood. If people say, well, I've got a child who's interested in, tell them about why Middle Georgia might have the best solution to that interest. We can do that, and if we do that, we're also addressing what I would call external engagement. There's still, let's be realistic. Middle Georgia State, those three words put together, did not exist 13 years ago. We don't have the luxury that at University of Georgia, or even think of something that's been around a lot less than that, Columbus State. Those names are recognized. We still are across 180 miles, and the message needs to be MGA, which is why I'm very proud that we've got signage going up, we've got more signage going up, we've got those rather large knights that are now appearing on all our campuses. These are small little tokens. They're not, in themselves, they're not substantial. What they are is signaling. They're signaling an identity, and we all need to be mindful of signaling that identity. So let me, on the second decade, conclude with looking at the issue of data and courageous leadership. This has been a really good story. We have incrementally built a much more data-aware culture. We have live dashboards. Margot was able to give me the enrollment data right now. We could all, I'm not encouraging you to get on your phone, but you could get on your phone and find all that data, and it's live. That was not around 5 years ago. And to the great work that went on in institutional research and driven by the academic division and the provost team in mapping that and making sure the deans get their information, we have created a world of knowledge that is great knowledge about the university. So is the university system. Each time I see the Chancellor, in fact, at our budget hearing last week, he wanted to show us his new dashboards about us, which is interesting, isn't it? It means you're being watched and being measured. But of course, it wasn't just for us, it's the whole system. He is developing and having his team develop very sophisticated tools, but with it, and I commend the USG for this, the expectation is it's not bells and whistles, oh, look at this, it's impressive. His expectation is to why your graduation rate's so low. Look at it. So in other words, there's a call, a task. There's an expectation, which I applaud and support, and I ask my colleagues know that I expect it too, that this is information that empowers us. It allows us to make decisions and sometimes to have to go and justify those decisions with your colleagues. But nonetheless, that's what educated people and strong organizations do. We are in a great place. We're coming at this from a strong position, but we have been identified around the one area of graduation rates and getting students more quickly through. So today's not the day to say how we do that, but I am saying we're going to begin in that student success focus. We're going to have that conversation. I really want to give a sort of like, this is a very, very happy piece of news. I know that every one of us, including me, there are days that you think, oh, I've got a long day ahead of me, or oh, I'm looking forward to the end of today. We all have that. That's good work. There are times we feel strong, and there are times we feel less strong. This university, whatever days you might have that have a few clouds in them, this university has reached a point where we have been named as a great college to work for, officially. To our friends in HR who have piloted this, have worked at it, it's like accreditation. So this is it's also a very significant story to the world. You can have a good career at Middle Georgia State. You can have an opportunity to grow. We will continue to keep coming back to compensation, and whether it's benchmarked and whether it's competitive, and we're now officially recognized nationally as a great college to work for. That's something that should help our recruitment of new employees when we have new positions or somebody retires, and it should help retain and give you the leverage to help your teams grow, to help give them opportunities. It's my commitment that we will do that. Let's give an example. Why we're a great place to work for. Our wonderful colleagues in the athletics department have been given a D2 life. NCAA D2. I was in Washington, D.C. all of last week at the convention, and with a lot of fit people. there. We're in the Peach Belt now. And I've been asked to serve with one other president on developing the strategic plan for the Peach Belt, which is exciting. I like that kind of work. And it's evident to me that we really did earn this because we are competitive. We are strong. We are building. We have raised more money for athletic scholarships. We have excitement going on. And I want to give a shout out, particularly after last week. One of the Peach Belt schools is the University of North Georgia, which is a large school, and it sees itself as a very strong school in athletics. And both the men and the women beat them in basketball. And yeah, there you go. My apologies and commiserations to my colleagues at UNG that I brought that up. But we've also we've got the cross-country facility, and we're going to host the Peach Belt Championship there, that amazing Georgia Premier cross-country facility that we opened just last fall. So there's really some strong ways in which the data has allowed individuals and team leaders to move us forward. I encourage, please move forward. In fact, finally, we're going to need to be thinking about our new strategic plan because the current plan, which has been really successful, we already have exceeded our enrollment that we thought we'd get in 2028. Our new plan is coming, our current plan is coming to an end. So I've asked Monica Beloga and her team to work on an integrated planning for the future. That will be rolled out in the coming weeks, what that looks like, but we need to make sure that we now build the plan for this second decade. And it will take us into what I am very confident will be a strong future, a great future. The crest has the torch on it. In front of me here, and we will be handing on that torch to future generations of students and faculty and staff. And we have the chance to build this new university in a way that most people working in higher education do not have. We are given the wonderful, wonderful, unique opportunity to found something that will endure, and very few educators get that opportunity in their careers. This is a wonderful campus here in Dublin. We have doubled our dual enrollment student population here in Dublin. We are going to have a 30% increase by 2027 in our student registration here in Dublin. We have 450 Lawrence County students taking classes at MGA, so let's get that to 500, Margot, by next fall. Let's see if we can get that to 500. We have amazing nursing. If you go to 4 of our 5 campuses, you see You see nurses and nursing activity. Top-notch facility here with great program and great students. They were actually, those of you who came down from the coffee, saw them all getting ready for class. This place is busy in the morning, and in the afternoon they go out to their clinicals. We have 120 students enrolled here and 78 local clinical rotations between Fairview Park and the VA. And we, of course, are excited to be launching our physical therapy associate program here this coming fall. So this is a campus with opportunity, and we want, to our community members, we want to take advantage of those opportunities. We're going to need your guidance, assistance, and occasionally you poking and prodding us and saying, hey, you're missing something here, and you shouldn't be. We don't mind that. Will we make this second decade live to its potential? I have no doubt of that. There's a wind at our sails. And I just want to give an illustration of that. Our foundation, when I came 10 years ago, was raising something like $600,000 a year. I'm proud to tell you this. Our foundation raised last year, under the guidance of Nancy White and her team, raised $5.2 million of philanthropic money. That's a record. We never have raised that. I know those numbers aren't official yet, but they will be in about 3 weeks. My point is, there's belief within the organization about who we are, and people are willing to step up, as they did in our faculty staff campaign, highest level ever. More than 62,000 gave to the Knights Give around athletic fundraising, and we're going to build that even more strongly this year. And 106,000 from our faculty and staff. We had never topped 100,000 in the short campaign last fall. And our board, our foundation board, it's important to say, of which grateful for our trustees from our foundation board, have approved a new campaign. It's my task to take the message and see if we can find many, many more donors and more resources. And we do that not just to feel good, but to actually get back to that idea of students, giving them the quality, giving them affordability, and now giving them something in a time that makes sense in their lives. We don't want students taking 10 years to get their degrees. We want them ideally doing them in 4, but if they can't do them in 4, get them done not long after that. This campus is going to be a place that helps us do that. And I thank each and every one of you, whether you work here and elsewhere, and I know our faculty and staff move around. I do urge you this. I occasionally come across a member of our faculty and staff who say, I've never been to that campus. And I'm always mischievous and say to them, go and tell your supervisor that the president asked you to go there, so you go and visit it. So now I've given, so if you hear that line, you say, no, he didn't really do that. You got to go, if you've never been to Eastman, you should go and see why our aviation school is so impressive. You should go and look at the technology lab that we have in our wonderful library. There's some really, for people my age, if you want a flashback to yesteryear, go and look at the technology lab and the equipment that we thought was so cool in 1986, and really now it looks quite antiquated. This is an example of what this university can do. We have our SAC COC accreditors coming in a month. I am to visit. I'm excited about them coming. There's some institutions, and I go on SACS visits, some institutions, they're nervous about you coming. They're worried. It's going to be difficult. I'm thrilled with what we have done, with what Chris Awadua and Monica have done to get us ready. And all of you in this room and watching have been on team writing and different responsibilities. We are ready to have an extraordinarily successful SACS visit. And that's because Middle Georgia is living up to its mission and its identity. So I want to declare that here we are in January 2026. I hope the year for you individually and your families has started well. I can't believe we're nearly into February. It goes quickly, doesn't it? I will say that the state of Middle Georgia has never been stronger. The opportunities are clear. We know what we can and need to do. I have every confidence that with your help and support, we will do it. We'll do it as a team because like the World Cup coming in June and July, it will be a team sport. And I'd like us at least to make it to the final. No, we will be the best we can be in this decade, and I thank you for taking part in that endeavor with each other and with me. Thank you very much. This is the embarrassing bit where I say, does anyone have any questions? And there's sort of silence for 30 seconds. But would anyone like to ask a question while I have a set? With that, I wish you a great day. Thank you again to our visitors, and I look forward to seeing us gathering all together in August at Convocation. Thank you very much, everyone.